Good afternoon, everyone, and a happy end to this year. How are you doing today, Mayor?
Doing pretty good. We made it to the end of our season. My goodness, I can't believe it. It's flown by. But yeah, here we are on now New Year's Eve. So this is Rabbi and the Mayor New Year's edition.
This is great. We do have a two-part finale for you all. We know you've been waiting in anticipation, and therefore we made this a glorious two-part finale. And I am happy to announce that we've been signed. People saw us on YouTube, and we've been signed to like a network major deal. So what started here as no, I'm just joking. It's not good to lie, but no, I mean this has been. I think we know that we are your go-to for all fantasy football news, all football news, and we appreciate your love and fandom. So thank you for that.
Amen to that. I second that very much. And you never know, Yahoo, the call from Yahoo or ESPN, they could just, that could be right around the corner also. So
that's right.
Just say
100%. 100%. Cool. So we thought that, after last week's great, interview with some very special guests, we are blessed again this week with another very special guest, a warrior who made it further than both the mayor and I. Valiantly battled all season long into the postseason, and we wanted to bring him on. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome to the show Lee Ackerman. Lee, how you doing
Hello,
today?
Lee.
Hey guys, hey Rabbi, hey Mayor. How you guys doing?
We're doing
Excellent.
great.
So great to have you on the show.
How are you doing, Lee? After tell everyone what happened, in your fantasy football playoff experience. Just share with us all.
Well, I made the playoffs. I got as high as this was a weird year. I think as low as like 10th after 4 weeks, and then as high as like second after like I think 11 or so, and then I settled into the fourth position. So I qualified for playoffs. I didn't win any of my playoff games, so I finished fourth. But sometimes it's better to qualify than to not qualify at all. So I'm very happy with my team's performance, considering a lot of the weeks that I won, I was projected to lose. So I guess you could say my team overachieved this year. I had injuries at key positions, especially the running back position. My number one pick went down week 2, so I was trying to play catch up running back all year. And
was that Saquon?
I had Saquon, yes.
Oh goodness!
So, and I didn't pick it as a homer pick. I picked it as I think I had like the third or fourth pick, and he was available. Like I wasn't like one of those that like if I had like if he was projected to go like later and stuff, I wouldn't have jumped to pick him. I don't do that. I've played fantasy football long enough that you don't draft based off of you don't draft your team players. You play to win, so you have to. So
you're saying, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
you're saying don't do what I'm sorry to interrupt. Don't do what Ben did in picking all the Ravens, and don't do what I did in picking most of the Broncos. Basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's correct. You wanna spread it out. I have a rule, and I do this in all the fantasy sports I do, is no more than, and obviously fantasy baseball is a little different because it's bigger. There's more players because there's more positions and everything. But I usually try to keep it to around 3 players on like a given team and everything. So I kind of spread the wealth out and everything.
Yeah,
that's a very good lesson. I unfortunately I didn't learn that quite in time for this season.
Yeah, but like I was saying, like my running backs, and then I had Jones from Tampa, who around playoff time got COVID, so he didn't play and everything. So my running backs were a little weak, and then third place game, my opponent had Kamara, so I was done on Christmas and had like no shot of coming back whatsoever. So
wow. You know who your opponent was, Lee?
I know you told me. I do not off the top of my head.
It was my own flesh and blood, my own son of Rummy. He was your opponent with
Oh.
Chimera, and I feel like I won vicariously through him. So even though I didn't make the playoffs myself, he
Yeah.
did, and he
Well, that
beat you.
goes.
So it's kind of like I beat you by default.
Yeah. Well, that goes with all those times I guess it makes up for all the times I beat you this year. So, and the funny thing, I don't know how it worked out, but like I played you like Yom Kippur weekend, and then I played you like Hanukkah weekend,
Yeah.
like holiday weekends and stuff. So I jokingly, and I think so. I already after Yom Kippur and saw that I beat you, I was like, well, that's one thing I'm gonna have to repent for next year. Already. So beating the rabbi, so can't
It's
do
nice to
that.
let the rabbi win. It's nice to let the rabbi win around Yom Kippur time. I'll tell you.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll let my players know that next year.
Or you can
Yeah.
just bench them. You just bench them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad. I think in our head-to-head matchup, I pulled out a victory. I don't know how that happened, but every once in a while, even my team of, of all the Ravens will click and come together, and I think that was one of the weeks. But I'm glad it didn't cost you a playoff spot
No.
or anything.
Well, that's why this is called fantasy. I mean, ultimately, you can you can draft an awesome team and everything, but they still have to perform on the field. And there's going to be weeks where, there's going to be weeks where your guy performs great, and there's going to be other weeks where they don't perform as great, and somebody on your bench performs better. So,
Right. Right. It's funny, if Rummy only was able to make the playoffs because of those two victories he had. One was by 1/10 of a point, and then another one was by point just over 1/10 of a point.
right.
Like,
I read your article on that, Rabbi.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
So that happened to me last year. I had I actually I think in our league last year, but I held on to win. I had a game where Aaron Rodgers took two knees to set up a field goal, and
oh
because it was
no.
negative yardage, I lost points, and
Oh,
so I
I
ended up winning by like 0.2. Like if he had taken
Unbelievable.
one more knee, I probably would have lost.
oh that I think was that the game you were telling me about? That was last season,
Yeah, that
right?
was last season. Yeah.
Right, you had one of those incredible, crazy matchups. But yeah, it's funny if one of those 1/10 of a point matchups for Rummy goes the other way.
Yeah,
I
of
mean
course.
that's then I guess you would have been playing. Are you in the playoffs or who would it have
Well, no,
been then?
I played Brandon in the semis.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Brandon in the
Yeah,
semis.
so it wouldn't have affected my semifinal matchup.
Oh, gotcha. Right. Right. I
So
just
and
would have
maybe it would have
expected.
affected third place, and maybe I would have won. I don't know, but
Mm.
in my other league, I finished second though. So
What other league?
yeah, I'm part of a New York Giants group, and so I did their league, and I finished second.
Oh, congrats. Congrats. Out of how
Yeah,
many teams?
12.
Oh,
So
wow. Congrats.
same layout. I finished second in the regular season, and then the guy that beat me, we basically were like 1-2 all season.
Hmm.
So, and I actually know what play I lost. I don't know if you watched the Kansas City Atlanta game on Sunday.
No,
So there was a play
not yet.
where the Atlanta guy intercepted Mahomes in the end zone, and he
Uh-huh.
came to the ground and he lost control of the ball, like when his back hit the ground, and they ruled it was incomplete. And then Atlanta tried to challenge it to say that well he held on while he went to the ground,
Mm.
and
And that affected
he
the outcome.
yeah the pass was incomplete. The next pass Mahomes threw was a touchdown, and
Mm.
my opponent had Mahomes, but he threw it to Robinson, and I had Kelce. So
Oh,
if he had thrown it to Kelce, I probably would have won. So that
right.
that interception had been overturned for it to be an interception, I would have won
Oh.
because I lost by like 5 points. So
And you had Kelsey in the other league, you're saying?
I had Kelce in both my leagues. Yeah.
Both leagues. And that's thanks to me because I drafted Mark Andrews ahead of Kelsey.
Yeah.
Not the
What were you
best.
thinking? What were you thinking? I had one year, so I haven't played fantasy football for God knows how long, and this was like 2009, and my friend's league based in New York, the guy ahead of me drafted Tom Brady, which you're thinking, okay, Tom Brady, that's great. But it was the year after he came back from his ACL injury. So,
Mm,
and Peyton Manning was still on the board. This was like 2009 Peyton Manning. So,
mhm,
and so he took Brady before me, and I was like, all right, I'll take Peyton Manning. Why not? So I did, and
mm,
I won that year.
mm.
So,
Very nice.
And
Well, now you mentioned before about being a homer. That's not why you drafted Saquon Barkley. So for all the fans watching, by that you mean you're being a huge Giants fan, right? Being a
yes,
homer.
yes.
Right. Okay. Right. Now I see you're wearing sort of a Washington football team color right now. Are you considering, is that perhaps indicative of anything? A different, perhaps a shifting of allegiance, perhaps?
No.
Oh,
It's just what I happened to pull out and wear today. So,
I see. I see. Well, we were, and we noticed, in your profile picture, decked out all in Giants gear. And Dan and I were talking, and we were maybe a little concerned. So we thought maybe we should talk about it now while we have this opportunity. And in the words of Dr. Phil, your Giants fandom, how's that working out for you?
well, I mean, if it wasn't for us, Tom Brady would have 2 more Super Bowls. So I'm doing great with that. Well, they never make it easy. Obviously,
Mhm.
even you know, even though the one Super Bowl that they won that was actually an easy one is the one I don't remember because I was like young and it was against the Broncos and that was actually the easy one. The other ones that they won,
87, I think, right?
yes. So the other
Or
ones that
so.
they've won, the 2 against the Patriots, of course, went down to the wire. The other one was wide right against Buffalo, so that went down to the wire. So it's never,
Mhm.
and even in the regular season, it's never easy and stuff.
Mhm.
But I mean, loyalty. Root for them. I'll keep on rooting for them, and they still have believe it or not, they still have a shot at winning the division on Sunday. So
Well, uh, yeah, well, Dan and I were talking. We wanted to maybe present you with like an alternative, perhaps.
okay.
There's an easier way, and so
I'm not becoming a Jets fan. Don't even ask.
would never ask you.
I won't have a liver left if that's the case.
No, 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 no. Friends don't let fans root for the Jets. We would never ask you to root for the Jets. Instead, what I would propose for you to consider is, well, Lee Ackerman, you should be a Packer fan. Because if you were a Packer fan, well, then you'd be a happy fan. And happy fan leads to happy man, happy man, happy man. Ah. Happy man, happy man, happy man, ah. Happy man, oh, happy man. Yes, you should be a happy man, happy man, happy man.
oh,
Happy man, happy man, happy man.
oh.
Ah, oh, happy man. Even the Super Bowl years of heaven, 2007 and 11, were really the special hands of fate, not the stuff you can replicate. See, even in '07, in the first victory, it took David Tyree. Are you listening to me? Then fast forward to 11, it took Manning to Manningham. See, are you listening, Lee Ackerman? That is not a solid plan. Think, you get Saquon Barkley, your guy, then he hurts his knee. You get OBJ, but then you trade him away. You reach for Daniel Jones. He trips, everyone groans. You can, you can avoid all of this dread if you just become a cheesehead. So you should be a Packer fan, Packer fan, Packer fan, Daddy.
Oh,
Packer fan, Packer fan, Packer fan. Oh,
oh,
Packer
oh,
fan,
Packer
oh,
fan.
Packer fan. Oh, come on now, Lee. Join the Packer family. Horning, Lambeau, and Lombardi. Come and join the party when you have QBs like Rodgers, Favre, and Starr. As you can clearly see, you can get quite far. So why are you a Giants fan? You might as well be a Lions fan. But come on now, Lee Ackerman, join the Titletown bandwagon. It'll make you a happy man, happy man, happy man.
Oh,
Happy man, happy man, happy man, be a Packer fan.
Wow, you know your history throwing Bart Starr in there. Very, very impressive.
Yes. So, are you convinced now? Are you off the Giants bandwagon and perhaps on the Packers?
No.
I thought, Ben, I thought that was a compelling case you made.
I thought
It
so
was,
too.
but I would like to bring up that the Giants have won a Super Bowl more recently than the Packers.
Yes, that technically is true.
So I just want
Although,
to bring that up. So
although if you do count NFC title game appearances, I think there were 3 more recently.
well, you got me there. So
Um,
I guess if I wanted to go to NFC title games and lose, I guess then that's the route I would go. But I like to go and win the whole thing.
absolutely.
So,
Yes, yes.
but
Well,
it was a very convincing argument.
very convincing argument. No, I'll have to tweak it a little bit. Maybe next time. Maybe next time. Next time.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Right. There are other teams to make a case for, but your name didn't rhyme with any of those teams, so kind of
Okay.
limited.
I was surprised. I figured the 2 you were gonna. I figured it was gonna be like the Broncos or so. I really thought it was gonna be like you were gonna be like, let's make him a Broncos fan.
Well, then your name would have had to been Lee Tonkotan or something like that. So, well, well, we've made our case. We've tried, but want to congratulate you on an amazing season, playoff finalist, and just all around, awesome having you in our league, and just all around great guy, and just happy to have you on the show.
Yes, thank you for having me. And what you were talking about earlier with this being picked up, I feel like this is how most bloggers and stuff get started. So just keep on doing this, and eventually you'll get noticed, and you'll be on one of those things, and I'll be like, I was on their show before they got famous, and then you'll be like, Lee who? And then
we won't forget you, Lee.
But it wasn't happening. So
we won't forget you. But I'm coming for you next year. I didn't forget what you did to me this year, and I have a good memory. So
yeah,
just get ready. But maybe
like I said, my advice, and other people, for anybody who's watching, who's played fantasy football or who's wanting to play fantasy football, is you have is to like anything else, is draft smart. Don't draft like your 3rd string tight end to be your starter because he's on your team. You want to draft somebody who's going to get you the points and the stats and everything. And
and you're also saying, what are you gonna say?
I was saying, I know that my also philosophies. I know there's rules again, people like to stack up the bench with everything. I personally, the one thing I do, and I know a lot of fantasy people are like, oh, don't do it, it's a waste, is I always draft also a backup defense and a backup kicker, because mostly because your defense and kicker are going to have a bye at some point. So you need to, and then you're going to be scrambling around, and you're going to get somebody, you'll never like the Jets kicker somehow and everything. And then, so I always have that on the bench. That way, when it's bye week for them, I'm maybe not scrambling around as much. But I usually wait for like my last 2 picks to do that and everything. I don't, I make sure I have my backup receiver or running back before I back up defense.
So I love it.
That's my advice.
Thank you. Beautiful. And you're saying also diversify. Unlike kind of what we did, you diversify a portfolio, diversify your fantasy squad. I love it.
Yeah, and also check, and football more than any other sport because of the buys. Check to see when the buys are, because when you're drafting your people, you don't want to draft 2 star running backs, for example, who are off the same week, because then you're gonna have to find another running back somehow.
Amazing.
That if you draft like a stud running back, let's say like Derrick Henry, and then let's say we'll go Broncos. We'll say Melvin Gordon is available. and they both have the same week. They both have the same bye week. Bypass on Gordon. Because you don't want to get you don't want on your bye week. You don't want to be scrambling around to try and find somebody. You want to make sure that you have it set and everything.
Good wisdom there. Good wisdom. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. Amazing.
Absolutely. Great. Yeah. Another good point, especially that about the bye weeks comes into play when, again, you draft everyone from the same team in real life.
That is true. Yeah. Because believe it or not, those weeks, the bye weeks and everything, those are the weeks where your playoff berth could be determined or not, even though it's like in the middle of the season, like a week 7 bye and everything. If you don't take the draft serious and you're scrambling and you lose and you miss the playoffs by 1 game, that could have been the week that you that messed up your playoff berth.
Right, true.
So you got to think of like the long-term picture and not just the short term.
Right.
Beautiful.
Right.
Amazing. Good stuff. Yeah, I got to revisit this tape before next draft next year. So thank you for that.
Yes, I'm definitely in for next year again. There's some unfinished business.
I love it.
And everything.
I love the fire.
And hopefully next year, all being well, we could get together and do the draft.
That's right. That's the goal.
So
that's the goal. 100%. Beautiful. God willing. Amazing, Lee. Thank you so much. Great effort. Great fight this year. Great having you on the show. And we'll see you next time.
Yes, and Happy New Year, guys.
You too. Take care, buddy.
All
the best. All the best. All right. To all of our many, many viewers out there, what a song, Ben. Well done, Mayor. Lee, thank you. Great efforts. We're going to take a little break now. We'll come back to you shortly for part 2 of our season finale.
Yes.